Words of Justice here with our next episode. Now, I'm here with Brad Shank, a local Windsor rapper. I'm not going to call him a rapper, we're going to call him an artist, and we're going to talk a lot about what it means to be an artist today. And to get it right out of the way so you're not listening to it when we're mid-conversation, this episode is sponsored by The Hub, operated by Samantha Bueller, 215 Chatham Street East. Downtown Windsor, if you are looking for a great place to eat, please call Samantha. She will hook you up at 519-253-7699. All right, Brad. I just met you today, so I'm pretty excited to have a real conversation with you. We've only talked maybe half an hour in our entire lives.
Yep.
Which is kind of fun, by the way, with these podcasts. So a friend of mine actually asked me to get you on the podcast and asked you to go on the podcast. Tim, our friend, which, by the way, Tim won't come on the podcast, and it's really saddening me.
Aw, Tim.
Let's try and bully him onto the podcast. Tim, we need you. Tim, I know you're listening, Tim. You need to come on the podcast. It's fine. You'll be all right. So Tim asked me to get you on the podcast because he thinks you're a pretty cool guy. So I asked him, well, why is he even cool? I don't even know why I'm bothering with this Brad Shank guy. So I listened to your... Who is Brad Shank? The question of the day, who is Brad Shank? Right? So I listened to some of your music, and I was pretty impressed. So I wanted to get, like, where's your story? I don't know anything about you. Where's your story? When did you start writing music? Why, I did like what I hear so far.
Well, I started writing my music at a young age. I never really got into the recording aspect of it or the performing or entertaining side of it until just recently, maybe a few years back. But it's always been a part of my life since a very young age. And, over the years, it's got me through some tough stuff, like having that ability to express myself, even if just on paper, you know what I mean? Like,
well, you're from the Eminem generation like me. We connected. We were talking about this before the podcast. Oh, yeah. We connected on, like, I don't avidly say that I'm some kind of rapper, nor do I practice enough to, to really throw it out there. But I have done some things like that, and I do write a lot. And I see from the way you were talking about before the podcast is we write in a similar fashion. Mm-hmm. Is we write in like old school runs.
Yep.
Right. You're trying to get a message out, and you're writing, you're just trying to get a message out. Hey, brother, let me tell you a story about when we were younger. We were ballsy, had the glory. You're just like, you're not really saying anything too complicated, but you're kind of just like going in a direction and then just spitting your thoughts out. Which
right.
That's like the most fluid form, most honest form of rap. Because then it's not like, and then I took my gat and my smashed. You're like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy.
That only goes so far for you. You know what I mean? When in terms of expressing yourself, I find. Being genuine is the only way to go. If you're going to express yourself and hope that people pick up on it, they're not going to pick up on things like that. Not everybody lives their life like that. And you'll find more often than not, most people don't live their lives like that, right?
Well, I noticed that you're not trying to be an actor. That's what I noticed about your music. I listened to maybe 5 or 6 songs last night, and what I got from it personally, this is my objective opinion again, was just, wow, this guy had obviously some kind of past that he was trying to write through, and he's trying to do it in a way that I think is historically significant. I think that it's like the Eminem. I told you we're the real Slim Shady kids. Like, how old are you?
30.
I'm 29. We're the same age.
Yeah.
We grew up with I'm the Real Slim Shady, and when that song first came out, you were a little kid just like me, and we were all the real Slim Shady, and we all cleaned out our closet, and we all had stuff to say, right? And for the first time, especially like in Windsor, somebody like Eminem, it must be one of your heroes like mine, because like we can see where he's from. Like we can look across the Detroit River and say like he's from right there, and he's just like me, and he was just talking, and he worked in some factories. Sounds very Windsor-like, right? Windsor, Detroit, and worked in some factories. He rapped some bars, and and he was just saying painful shit that happened to him, and at some point he kind of blew up.
I find it's a form of expression, and if you express yourself fluidly and in a genuine fashion, eventually people are going to pick up on it, and people buy into those kind of things, because I think it's in our human nature to just want to be real with ourselves, and nobody wants to imitate something that they're not. The older you get, you kind of grow out of that phase, you know what I mean? And you kind of find yourself over the years, and you want to be your own person, and you want to express yourself. I just looking at the different types of people today is, it's amazing to see how many people are willing to step forward and say, hey, like, I am who I am. I might not be like you. I might not be like anybody, but I'm me, and I'm going to do me,
I think that's what an artist is. Like, I think we have to separate our language, and this podcast really is about identifying language.
Right.
When I'm looking at, let's say there's somebody who has martial skills, and there's somebody who's a martial artist.
Okay.
Okay, you could have rap skills.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a rap artist. What is the difference? In my opinion, the difference between the skills of something and the art of something is, so I have martial skills. I can punch and I can kick, and I can be a Cobra Kai, break your leg artist, and I can know how to do these things. But they're all two-dimensional because there's no real volume to it. There's nothing behind it. There's no meaning. There's no purpose. There's no real expression. There's no true transcendent reality behind it.
Yeah, you're just kind of going through the motions.
You're going through the motions. You're just mundanely, fundamentally doing the operations of what it is you think you're doing. Mm-hmm. But when you really connect to it, and it's almost like, I'm sure when you get all amped up and you're in your flow state, and you're writing or you're rapping or you're singing or whatever, I personally get into that state where I'm like, am I even thinking? Because it doesn't think so. I'm not operating on my brain. Yeah, it's like I'm not using my brain, and yet my brain is calculating all these words that I clearly learned cerebrally. This is through my intelligence, and yet it seems like my heart is powering that intelligence, right? I always think it's like the heart is what powers art. Art,
definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
We had a lot of this male language when we first, like sons, by the way, just not to throw this topic way out of the bat, this Canada crazy thing. Sons means follower of. Even metaphorically, metaphysically, son of God, follower of God, right. Jesus. Come on, guys. Mm-hmm. Christ-like, Christ consciousness, son of. Yep. So everybody wants to be a son of God because we want to be a Christ consciousness follower, whether you're religious or not. You want to connect to source. Right? So even when we were talking about our Canada, they're saying, well, the sons is a bad word. Sons is not a male word.
It's not a bad word.
It's not a male word. It just is a word.
Yeah.
I don't know what the war on words is.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I like about rap, and I like about people who express words through. I don't care if you're rapping, writing, talking, whatever your expression is, painting, whatever your expression is, honestly expressing it is art. Martial art, rap art, singing art, visual art, any kind of art. I don't care what art you use. If you put that much heart into a floor, and you have the best hardwood floor ever because you made sure it's perfectly sanded, and you put all of yourself into that floor or that drywall, then that's art too, by the way, guys.
Right. Yeah.
Contracting, that's all art. Mm-hmm. Right? So I liked what I was listening to, and what is it? Recently I've seen some awards that I don't really know what you got them for.
The Windsor Hip Hop Awards.
Okay, let me know. Why did you win these awards?
Well, I was lucky enough to take home 2. The Windsor Hip Hop Awards just came back for its first run. I'm pretty sure it was around, a while back, but with all these newer acts surfacing nowadays, it's coming back, right? Because these people need to be recognized. So I was lucky enough to take home 2 awards. One was for a music video for a song off of my last album, and the other one was for promotion. I think it was Promoter of the Year. So I took that home because basically, the work I do in the field here with the events that I do and, everything else. And it shows. I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't like to brag about myself, but at the end of the day, I put a lot of work into my craft, and my process that I use to do my events shows. It pays off. It goes well. Everybody has, I've never really had anything bad happen at one of my events, and I've never really had anybody complain either. Like, so the vibes are like through the roof when people come. And when it comes down to voting in a process where it's like, you need to pick a clear winner or you need to vote and, let the numbers show, they showed. And I was lucky enough to bring home that promotion award. The video award meant a little bit more to me personally because I put so much work into that album. I don't know if you actually checked out the album or not, but
and I've seen the video you're talking about because I researched why you got that award. And we were talking about in the truck on the way here, we were talking about putting those expressions in the videos and putting those, taking the art to another level. So not only did you write this song, then you expressed it and produced the actual vocals and music, whatever. And then you took it to a whole other level. When you get into producing your own music video, now it's okay. I'm trying to illustrate the thoughts in which I had when I was writing this. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to give you a visual video image into my memories, into my processes.
The driving force of what created it.
I know that's what I caught from it. Like, I guess, I'm pretty perceptive in these things. Obviously, I was able to look at this and go, okay, well, these are the tenets of this person. And that was what's cool is I also realized you were not being an actor, that you were actually truly being an artist. This is not an act. I was introduced to this guy named Young Jesus. Young Jesus on the internet.
Jesus.
Young Jesus. I went over to my friend's house. She has an 18-year-old daughter, and she told me all about Young Jesus, and I was laughing on the floor because I could not believe that this was a real thing. And if you please don't look him up because I don't want to give him any more views. I'm not trying to promote Young Jesus, but it was disgusting to listen to. Mm-hmm. It was, 110-pound kid saying, and then I got him, I shot him,
I
kicked down the door, and you're
about.
like, bro, and he's openly. What's crazy is all these kids online. I went and I looked it up, and they love him.
Yeah,
they love him, and that's dangerous.
They don't like him around here, though.
No, here not so much. but I'm sad. I'm like, this guy's getting millions and millions of views. Okay, the cultures went a little wrong here, guys.
Yeah.
This guy is a soft little baby kid pretending to be a gangster because he thinks that that's what's going to get him views. When these guys were really being gangsters, they were actual gangsters. When DMX was coming up with the Rough Riders and Eminem came up with the D12, when that thing was really happening, there was real violence and there was real guns and there was real people dying.
Yeah, there's no curtain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is weird to me. It's like, okay, guys, like honest expression is art and anything other than that is acting. Now, I also say that acting is art. So here's the weird part. So if art is expression and you truly express the fact that you're really good at pretending to be other things, I guess that's also an art too. I guess Leonardo DiCaprio is an artist.
It's a craft in itself.
It's a craft in itself. Now, that's okay, but you also call yourself a different name, right? So let's think of somebody, right? Like so Johnny Depp.
Well, sitcoms, I find, is the perfect example of that. Because even every star in every sitcom, they might use their same given name, but their last name is always different.
Sure. Yeah, even so the Drew Carey show, I guess. So that's a weird one.
That would be, yeah.
I guess I caught you on that one.
Yeah.
But you're right. Sure. They usually use, they're still Tim Allen, but it's Tool Time. Right?
Yeah. So they'll throw a different name in there to kind of throw you off, but still project that same.
Well, they get to be, I explain this all the time. There's different kinds of actors, right? And even just talk about actors, to get away from musical artists for a second. There's your Johnny Depp actor that becomes the role.
Yeah.
He is Captain Jack Sparrow, I promise you. He probably drank a bunch of rum.
Oh,
You look at Heath Ledger, he died as the Joker. I'm pretty sure he believed himself to be the Joker as he probably took his last breath. That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Or you get a Will Smith.
If
you think about somebody like Will Smith, though, that's just his natural. I don't care if he's Fresh Prince, I Am Legend, 7 Pounds, he's still Will Smith, bro.
Yeah. He's
still Will Smith.
He just lives that.
He's Will Smith. His natural charisma is expressed through his art on screen, but it's a different kind of expression. When you look at Anthony Hopkins, he becomes Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
Like that's Hannibal Lecter, right? He falls into the role. And I think some people are able to almost be a blank canvas, which is an interesting art as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to take that away from actors. That's why I want to make it a point. Like if you have a tremendous skill, so like let's say somebody's a WWE style wrestler. I think that's an incredible skill. You have to be a hell of an athlete. Yeah, sure, you're an actor compared to like an MMA fighter.
Well, you have a role that you have to portray. Right?
Sure, but you're still an athlete.
Yeah,
you're still an artist, and that's still a way to express yourself. Even if that expression means I am now the Terminator, blah blah blah. You can put your wrestling voice on. You get really tough and get all macho. That's probably like expressing your inner macho-ness the same way that you probably express it through rap, or I like to sing more often, or right. It's still a way to express.
It's a form of expression. I find that any way that you can do that, it not only benefits you, but anybody else that follows it, or if you want to say buy into it, like a role that somebody's portraying in a movie, like if you want to buy, a lot of people are really geeked about superhero movies now, what I mean, and the whole superhero vibe, like that kind of stuff,
Well, thank you to Brad Pitt for being Achilles, right? Because that Troy movie really inspired a lot of people. I love that movie.
Yeah, that was definitely a good movie.
There's some serious things that he says a line in that movie. I guess off topic, but screw it, and do whatever topic I want. It's Achilles is laying there, on a couple of women, and the little boy runs in and says, remember the two armies are lined up and they have champion versus champion is going to stop the war. So instead of sending the armies against each other, each side chooses a champion, and right? So they go get Achilles, and the kid runs to Achilles and says, Achilles, the man you're fighting, I would not wish to fight him. He's the biggest man I've ever seen. And Achilles gives him that asshole smirk and says, well, that's why no one will remember your name.
Right.
Right, so I do like that attitude, and what's funny is I almost want to give you a little bit more. If I can, as your new friend, I want to give you a little bit more fire in your gut, because I think what you're saying in your art is true, and I think to express it further, we have to keep upgrading that fire that we have, right? So build on it. So how do I up the temperature? How do I up the heat? How do I sharpen? We were talking about this in the truck. Is iron sharpens iron, and
hone your skills.
And sometimes you need a sparring partner, right?
More often than not, having that definitely helps.
And sometimes they're not. People don't realize that, by the way. A lot of times people think a sparring partner is an opponent. That's not the same thing. I said opponent is opponent, and a sparring partner is sparring partner. Mm-hmm. You and I could collaborate. If you and I felt like doing a rap battle right now, we could do a rap battle where we're talking about, and we will do this on the next podcast, by the way. You and I have a fun little rap battle next. We'll get a little bit more alcohol in us, though, because I'm on this coffee, I'm not feeling that crunk. Mm-hmm. Right, so we'll get crunked up one day to do a rap battle, and it's like there's two ways of rapping. My unfortunately deceased friend from Fentanyl. Damn you, fuck you, Fentanyl.
That's rough.
Hashtag fuck you, Fentanyl. He used to rap with me. That's actually why I haven't rapped in the last 4 or 5 years, because that friend of mine was the person that I used to rap with, and we used to collaborate. So it used to be cool where we would start with a line, and we would build up the next line. So if I would get stuck, he would not hate on me or attack me. He would build up the next line. Yeah. You know, I get stuck. Don't worry, bro. I got the next line. You're in luck. Man, I don't even give a fuck. Yeah, like it would just be like that kind of rap.
He was always there to build you up.
Yeah, we were just always there to build each other up, and you know, it wasn't rough and tumble against each other, bro. We'd do 500 lines. Mm-hmm. We're like lost in the lines. We should have recorded a bunch of these. I wish we would have to this day. Mm-hmm. I really am sad that we didn't, because we had some real hilarious freestyles that were just two friends kicking in their living room, not giving a fuck. Mm-hmm. You know, way too drunk, way too silly, should be in bed. You know, and we're just saying all this funny stuff, and they're like, "That's rap to me." By the way,
that's
rap,
a gold mine.
That's a gold. That's the best. Like compared to like, I'm gonna put my chain on and get into my persona and come over and rap you and
I'll put my sunglasses on.
Come on, man. You know, like that's not rap to me. Rap is like legit Eminem style. Like, I'm only saying the things you joke about with your friends inside the living room. The only difference is I got the balls to say it in front of y'all, and I don't got to be false or sugarcoat it at all. Right? It's just like I just get on the mic and spit it. That's like the best part. Yeah. It's like I'm just talking. I'm just saying what it is. But you guys are all not brave enough to say what I'm feeling. But you're feeling what I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. So connecting to that,
it's not like it's not normal, right?
Yeah.
It's just people misconstrue it over time or pick it apart too much, maybe. I don't know.
Well, instead of connect to it. Well, that's why I was trying to talk to you about, like, sometimes your lines, let's say, and we were talking about John Lennon. John Lennon, if you sing "Imagine all the people," you know, sometimes that message doesn't really get there because
it's not powerful enough.
There's not enough amps.
Yeah.
There's not enough amps. Nobody can hear it. They can't hear it a mile away.
There's no delivery.
There's no delivery. There's not enough amps in the speaker. You know, maybe you have the right song, but you're not playing it loud enough.
Yeah, you can't turn it up loud enough to get it.
Or somebody, you got to remix that shit. Yeah. Sometimes you got to add some bass, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to fuck it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. You got to say, okay, I'm not going to sing. I'm mad. You got to yell it out. You got to growl it out. You got to say the same words in a different way, right? Or you need to lend energy to each other. We were talking about this too. Is like features. Mm-hmm. Right? You and I are going to work on something. We're not telling you guys. It's a secret. We have a secret project, Brad and I. Shh, don't tell anybody. But we're working on a secret project because we're going to bring back the Windsor collaboration. Back in the day, we were talking about this too. Is there's a vibe of Windsor music that I see that is like a grungy, we've been through some hell, rough and tumbled, tattooed up, scarred up, got broken families, you know, daddy got fired, and all this stuff from Windsor that all translates into our music, right? Mm-hmm. But I think we have the real potential to have like a second Motown revolution in Windsor with the artists that I currently know. Mm-hmm. Like myself personally,
right?
All the artists in Windsor, yourself included, myself, and we were talking about Josh Johnson, Tony Coates. Shout out to you guys. There's a lot of other artists, and you know I'm not going to throw every name out there, but to all you guys, keep doing what you're doing because we have a sound here. And if we were starting to collaborate and feature each other and promote each other, instead of saying, okay, well this is Brad Shank's crowd and this is Justice's crowd. Well, you know, even though we might have, I know me and your Facebook only have a couple hundred mutual friends. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we're the exact same age, pretty much. Right. We only have a couple hundred mutual friends. You have like 5,000 friends, I have 5,000 friends. So you're saying we have an entire network to offer each other of people that should listen to each other.
Virtually.
Untapped. Yeah. So my network should listen to Brad, and Brad's network should listen to me. So instantly the Words of Justice just grew, and instantly all of your songs. So we should get more YouTube views on your songs after this. And why not? Why not?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. What's stopping us, right, at this point? In today's age where you have all these tools at your fingertips, basically, really what's stopping you from working together? I guess at the end of the day, that's probably the biggest driving force behind it.
Sometimes it's ego, sometimes it's lack of leadership, right? For example, we're sitting at the We Speak Network, and Paul Sinnott was a leader to create the We Speak Network. And without this We Speak Network, without the table we're sitting at, the chairs we're sitting on, the microphones we're speaking into, we couldn't have this conversation.
Right.
So, you know, I don't mean to criticize and be negative, but I do mean to say that we need more leadership. And I'm also not saying that without taking responsibility myself. I'm suggesting that we need more leadership in this environment, and I will help to lead that. So I would love to feature on a bunch of, we were talking about this, I'm more of a singer than a rapper, but I can really lend a lot of energy into that song. So I'm going to sing some hooks for you, and we're going to write some music, and why the hell not? Because we're here, we're alive, and we get to do whatever that we want.
Exactly. I mean, that's the point, right? Is to do what you want.
Well, I also think that, can you imagine the power, and I'm really throwing this out there to you, in the next election, which is only 4 months away for Windsor, we have an opportunity to rally the younger people like myself and yourself and the millennials, we'll call them.
Okay.
You and I are the oldest of millennials. So 29, 30-year-olds, we're like the leaders of the millennials, okay? So we can't look to the people that are from 21 to 30 and ask them for leadership. You and I have to lead.
Yeah.
So we can lead them and say, okay, guys, well, none of you are registered to vote. We need to register to vote. We need to make our voices heard. And if you don't make your voices heard, stop talking smack on social media.
Right.
Social media is not where votes count.
No.
The ballot is. So you need to recognize the ballot. So one thing we could do that through is maybe we write a cool rap. Maybe we do a song. I'm envisioning cool things like a group of us artists doing like our startup music has come together, right? I've always envisioned things like, and to everybody who's listening, because I know you guys listen to the podcast, so Josh and Tony, I'm getting you all guys together on this, and we're going to imagine, one artist walks in, hey, oh, go flat top, you come home. And then, it does the first line, the second guy walks in, and we do a video of this, and we introduce all the Windsor artists with one line in the way that they sing or they rap. So maybe you actually rap a line of Come Together, and then I sing a line in my style. And Tony sings it in his amazing falsetto, and Josh, woos us to sleep with his smooth, silky voice. Right?
Yeah.
And we can show these are the flavors of Windsor. And look how different we are, but look how the same we are. We're all the same. We all go to the same parties. We go to the same mall. We eat at the same places. Our families are friends or have run into each other.
With each other one
especially
way or another.
In Windsor, guys. Yeah. This is a small little high school city.
Yeah.
It's like a big high school, but we call it a city.
Right.
And you know who the big players are, and you know who the musicians are. And we spend so much time hating on the other musicians, myself included, by the way. I'm saying this.
Musicians are critical people.
We suck at honestly not being judgmental because we're critical and judgmental of ourselves because we're all usually perfectionists.
We try to gauge everything.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do that. We should look to maybe see the differences and express and celebrate the differences instead of saying, look, I don't like him because he sings like this. Well, man, I can't sing like that. When I listen to Tony Coates or Josh Johnson, I use these two because they're really good examples of Windsor artists that I'm like, they literally make me feel insecure. And I love it. I love them for it. Every time I listen to them sing, I'm like, wow. And AJ Vandenberg, I listened to him last night, and I'm listening to these guys. I'm like, wow, bro, you guys are real artists. You're so talented that I'm going to go crank my mic out right now. I'm going to go produce some music right now. And so to me, if the very act of being yourself so honestly can then make somebody inspire, even me. So I'm a very motivated, driven person, but it's not to say that I don't draw motivation and drive from everybody around me like everybody else does. So it was very cool to me to go through my Facebook last night. Oh, boom, AJ's playing, what was he doing? Ain't No Sunshine on his guitar.
Okay.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it. It was crazy. I'm literally watching it like, this is fucking next level, man. We need to, by the way, I need to go share that. Everybody look up AJ Vandenberg doing Ain't No Sunshine, because the guy killed it. I watched Josh Johnson doing some old school songs, and this is not even produced. What's cool is even our live feeds on our phones.
Right.
You can do. We need to do that more. If anybody's listening, please feel free to live stream your friends doing awesome stuff more often.
Yeah,
I love watching it. There's nothing better.
It's a beautiful platform to share stuff with, and the content is endless.
But we don't share each other. Feeds. Why is it funny? My restaurant that I own won't get shared, but everybody will share the latest Tim Hortons story, right? Mm-hmm. And then that drives me crazy. And then on their next post it says support local. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Yeah. With your Tim Hortons in your hand, you drove by my restaurant, you didn't share my. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
So to me, it's I'm not trying to be. I guess there's a word for everything, so I'm not trying to be like a localist. I guess there's a label and a name for any opinion that you apparently hold. There's a name for it now.
A label.
A label. But because I don't believe in these boxes or labels, I'm like, well, what can we do to change it? And when I was thinking about getting you on here today, I really believe that culture is changed more by the painters and the poets than the politicians and the lawyers.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's a perfect way to put it.
I think that's why we need more painters and poets and less politicians and less lawyers. And I'm encouraging, though, these painters and poets to realize that even though I understand that everybody who is artistic and super creative, we tend to gravitate towards left brain, and I'll use a label to explain it, but left wing, we're more progressive, we call ourselves like Democrats or more liberal or whatever, right? But that sometimes is really, you got to be more militant about your liberalism. So if you want to be liberal and you say, well, I want everybody to be able to be artists and this and that and the other thing, okay, well, that's fine. But the system, like the system of this podcast network, has to exist properly for those things to be produced. Right. So if we don't collect our votes properly and vote so that the system is set up in a way that people can thrive and create content, then that content doesn't exist and nothing happens.
Yeah, so, it just kind of exists in nothing. At the end of the day, if it's not being shared or passed around, what's the point?
Well, the right wing thinkers don't think that way. Yeah. They're being conservative. They're not setting up podcast networks. They're not setting up artist collaborations. So we need to get more involved in our politics so that our politics can shift the culture. Because yes, the culture shifts the politics, and the politics shifts the system. So we have to, like, let's say you and I, we're going to come up with a couple cool songs, for example. Not going to tell anybody. We have secret plans. So we come up with these songs, and we can create impact with these songs. Same way I told you in your rap, what I respected was 5-6 lines in. It's pop, 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 boom. You know, jab, 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 cross. Oh, the uppercut. Yeah. Well, your jaw was open. You should probably sit down and think about what just happened. So a real good rap or a real good song should literally sit you down. It should really like make you like push your headphones in deeper, sit on the couch, sink into it, and go, okay, what is this guy saying?
Listen to it again.
Yeah, hit the rewind button, hit the replay button on YouTube, and go, what did he just say?
Yeah.
Right, and there's a couple lines, and I'm sure you live by a lot of lines, but like, there's rap lines that have literally saved my life. Mm-hmm. I'm not bullshitting by this.
Most definitely. Right,
Eminem lines. I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, why would I say I am? You know how many times that was like. You know, or how many times I had to lose myself in the music while on a run or boxing? Or, you know, how many times you get a critical comment on Facebook and I throw NOS. People fear what they don't understand. They hate what they can't conquer. Hey, it's just a theory of man, maybe a monster. And you just, all of a sudden, I'm just like, whoa, my whole attitude just changed. Because I was like depressed 2 seconds ago, and now I'm feeling like a monster.
Yeah, now you're all fired up.
I'm fired up. Literally, like Paul had to turn my mic down right there because I got so pumped up just doing the line. So it's like you go from 0 to 100 real quick with like that one little line or syllable or
Once
word.
You tap into those feelings, that's what made people like Eminem great, was their ability to tap into those feelings and express themselves.
He was so pissed off, man. We were pissed off, and so was he.
Every time you listen to it, he sold you on that emotion, no matter what he was feeling when he wrote that song. At the end of it, you felt that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you were ready to.
No, even if it was Psycho, even if you were listening to like Stan, even if you were listening to Stan or you were listening to I said I'm sorry, Mama. You're like, whoa, Mama. I'm like, you're thinking about your own Mama. You're putting yourself in your own dark places. I felt that Eminem really had a gift to like bring you to dark places and then bring you back.
Yeah, show you the light in it.
Yeah, like Toy Soldiers or something. Like Stan's a perfect example because at the end of Stan, he's like, wow, and he's like talking about this fan and Stan and. Wow, man, I hope you weren't that guy that just threw his girlfriend off a bridge and blah, 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 blah. And then when he realizes, wow, you are that guy. Damn.
Yeah.
Maybe, and Eminem makes his own realization, and you're literally listening to the song, and you can feel his realization through the him saying it, the way he said it, the way he sighs, the way he's like, man, Stan, you know, like, I didn't know, Dan. Yeah. You know, I wish I would have talked to you sooner. I wish I wouldn't be able to stop you. And you can literally feel that. That's so crazy to me that you can inspire such emotion, and that's why I love doing these podcasts too. Like I've been getting inboxes the last couple of weeks going, hey man, I listened to the podcast. That's a pretty cool way to think about minimum wage. I never really thought about it like that. Oh, that's a cool way to think about immigration. I never really thought about it, right? So it's kind of fun to bring these things up and then have a different perspective. You're an artist, a rapper, you're not a politician, but weird how you think very politically, don't you?
Definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has their own political views, right?
Yeah, everybody has their own political views, but do we act politically with those views is what matters, right?
I don't think everybody acts on them as much as they feel them or think them, but...
Or post them or like them or share them.
Yeah, I find people are quicker to post them than act on them, maybe, you know. And that might be, you know, a driving force in the wrong direction today, instead of actually acting on something, like, you know... Because thousands of years ago, if you wanted something changed, you act on it.
You take action.
You don't wait. You just do, right?
Act, but don't be an actor. Okay, so we're going to take a little break here, and we will be back.
Yeah, we off and rolling now. No one's stopping my forward motion now. Wow, I ain't tripping, I'm finna show you how. This record is dedicated to anybody with a broken heart. Fuck y'all trying to hold them down. Flowing like a freight train full of spray paint, loaded up with AKs, coming from the Great Lakes with a straight blade, yelling Mayday, Mayday. All y'all naysaying rappers better make way. This is Nobody Famous' debut. Brad Shank, get your neck slit when I'm trying to make moves. Bringing devastation and I will erase you like I'm Ivan Drago. I must break you. I'm a man who's fighting with the machine, and I'm betting before the 90s that I'm gonna make them bleed. For trying to make it harder for grinders like you and me to survive in the kind of climate these tyrants looking to breed. Outside I'm a human being, in my mind I'm a growing giant who's climbing more than a beanstalk. Yeah, I'm a diamond, you're I'm a sheetrock. Ain't nobody fucking with me or mine when the beat drop. You can't tell me I will never make it. I am at my greatest. I've been patient, now I'm anxious, and I'm finna get up in your ass like ape shit. Then you finna crash like a makeshift spaceship. So it's plain to see this is for men and women who put their faith in me. Those without me we're getting from point A to B, knowing that I'll never give up on my crazy dreams. I'ma bring the heat, my focus is on point like a laser beam. Let me catch you slipping and I'm finna take the lead. I'm a juggernaut moving at outrageous speed.
Live from the heart of Ford City, Windsor, Ontario, you're listening to We Speak Radio.
Here come old back top, he come grooving slowly. He got juju eyeball, he want holy roller. He got hair down to his knee. Got to be a joker, he just do what you please. Yeah.
Second half of Words of Justice, back with Brad Shank. We're going to just expand this conversation a little bit. By the way, that song gets me pumped up every time. That intro song, I'm like, it gets me right in my zone, gets that beat going. I like it. It's Come Together time, right?
It's a good theme, too.
Well, you know, we picked that song. That's the Justice League version of Come Together, right? Now,
Yeah.
I'll be singing some different intros in the future, unfortunately, for your ears, guys. Sorry. But, and we'll elaborate on some different songs. But I think for the first episodes of Words of Justice, Come Together is my absolute theme.
Definitely.
You know? And even
Definitely.
and I love that thing, Come Together right now over me. Right? That to me is like a leadership cry out where I don't think people listen to that song the way it's supposed to be listened to. They just kind of jam to it, but it's like, no, man, you can hear what these guys are saying.
Yeah, there's a message behind it for sure.
It's crazy to me. Like, you know, just you got to be a joker and just do what he please. You know, and to me, it's like telling you all the messages. The Beatles were clearly so revolutionary with their music, and that's what I think when I think about music. I'm a very huge fan of people like Tracy Chapman, the Beatles. Even Michael Jackson, to be honest with you, like they don't really care about us as a hell of a song to listen to if you really want to get amped
For sure.
up.
Oh, yeah.
That's a message.
Yeah.
Like, all I want to say is that they don't really care about you. Like, whoa, Michael, you were pissed off, weren't you?
Yeah.
I that era of music where people actually got really pumped up and they said a real message. I really miss it. I want to bring a little bit of that back in with my own music, and maybe I'm going to pump you up to do the same kind of thing. Is
Tap into that.
yeah. Man. There was an energy to that was this revolutionary energy. You know, talking about a revolution.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're like, whoa, I'm in.
Yeah,
coach. Like, it was like this,
sign me up.
Sign me up. Where's the revolution? I'm in. You know, and that's I miss that because now it's like I listen to music and it's literally feels like it's just lab created music where
It's monotonous.
yeah, this beat's gonna get them. It gets people hype.
Yeah.
It gets them going.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
It gets the bodies moving.
Love
It's like,
this beat.
I love this beat. You know, and now let's put irrelevant words next to the beat so that they continue with the beat. And it's like, well, I don't really want that, man. I want you to really challenge my like music that really gets me is things that challenge my thought process.
Yeah, definitely on an intellectual level. You know, it's got to be stimulating. If I'm gonna listen to it, it's got to drive me to either want to get angry and speak out against something, or
calm down, right?
Yeah, or maybe call somebody and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry for telling you, you know, to leave me alone earlier," or like flipping out on you. Like if it pushes your emotional buttons,
yeah,
that's it for me.
Well,
you know,
what's
like,
funny, the Beatles is all over the place in my house because, you know, we might wake up to Come Together and Revolution, but we might go to sleep to Blackbird and Let It Be, and I'll sing to my son, and, you know, we're singing these, you know, I got him already singing, like, he'll say help, and I'll do the other part. Need somebody says help,
yeah,
my 2-year-old.
That's dope.
It's amazing because it's like they even watched that show, I don't know if anybody watched it, it's called Beat Bugs. It's like the Beatles songs, all done in like a kid's show. That lets
Really?
like the ants. It's like bugs. So it's like these little beat bugs, and and it's illustrating the actual song. So like they'll sing Blackbird on one of the episodes, but the blackbird actually has a broken wing.
Okay.
So they're singing Blackbird singing in the take his broken wing, learn how to fly. So they actually like illustrate the song.
Yeah.
So it's cool to my little son, who's not even 2. He already knows. Like the other day, I was singing "Come Together." He comes around like "Come Together," and his mom, Sam goes right now, and here goes my little 2-year-old around the corner over me. You know how cute that was? I was like,
pokes
what
his head in.
just happened? It blew my mind because I was
Yeah.
like, that's what the Beatles intended, by the way.
Right.
That come together spirit
Yep.
where like literally when you start singing that song,
You
people
do it
all
as a
jump
round.
in.
Yeah.
It's around. Everybody jumps
Yeah.
in. You come together right now over me, and you can do it as like you can point to different people and sing
Yeah,
different
and
lines.
everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Those are anthems, cultural anthems that I think we underappreciate as social media kind of drowns us out with all these distracting little.
The endless wave of meaningless content.
Oh my God! You don't see people like engaging in conversation like, "Wow, man, Let It Be is the most revolutionary song ever. It really changed my life." You see like, "Yeah, Donald
really
Trump.
negative.
Donald Trump sucks.
Yeah.
I hate the establishment."
Yeah, or like a novel about your political,
Don't talk about Paul that way. He's sitting right here. Paul, we love your novels. I read them all. I think you're very, updating with your current events. So we're not going to talk shit about political. I'm just saying that I would like to see some variation in the content that I see, right? I would love to see people engaging in it. I'm going to be doing maybe another couple shows on the network talking about that. Like, I'd like to introduce people to music and maybe even talk about, like, play the song even, and then maybe tell them, like, did you know when Tracy Chapman's singing, like, why do the babies starve when there's enough food to feed the world? And you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
hold on. Why, and you're breaking that down. This is such a revolutionary song, and we don't even listen to these kind of songs anymore. We don't. And we don't even ask those kind of questions of ourselves. When I was born, like when the kids of the 90s, you're a kid of the 90s like me. Mm-hmm. When we were in the 90s, there was a couple things we wanted to do. Everybody wanted to love each other like a Backstreet Boy, right? Everybody was a Backstreet Boy, and everybody wanted to kind of change the world, and everybody was watching video. All the movies were about being a champion as Mighty Ducks and Air Bud and be a champion and champion. Everybody's champions. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, the world changed somewhere. Somewhere we got negative, and somewhere we started like, all the shows I see now is displaying the dysfunctional families. It's trying to like perpetuate the negative stereotypes. We're not watching Family Matters and Full House, and I guess we have the new versions of them now.
Yeah,
but not the same way we did when we were kids, man.
No, definitely not. It's a more negative tone I find nowadays, and it's more. Maybe it's because it's more compelling, or maybe I don't know. Like maybe it's just it makes for better news. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's taking up 90% of the endless wave of content we see nowadays, but I find the general tone is way lower. It's not as positive as it used to be and uplifting and make you want to be the best version of you,
Well, we are all connected, and we have this like global consciousness. You remember the word Zeitgeist? I don't know if everybody remembers that from those old videos back in the day. But the Zeitgeist, or the overall tone, the tone of our thoughts of the world, has changed. And if you think about it, in the 80s and 90s, you had like We Are the World. Here's a perfect example about a collaboration song.
Yep.
We Are the World, the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, not the second one is cute with Bieber and all that stuff, whatever. Great.
Yeah, but the original.
But that original, man, when you seen those guys, it was crazy. That video, when you even go back and watch it now, by the way, the singing was so much more raw. Mm-hmm. Right? Go watch the new We Are the World with Bieber and all those, and they're all trying to show off their voice with auto-tune.
Right.
And then you go to that back one in the 80s where you're like, oh my God. This is Kenny Rogers and these old school singers. They weren't playing games, man.
No.
This was not auto-tune. Mm-hmm. This was their real voice, and they wail it out, and their hearts are bleeding for the kids of the world, right?
Right.
Whereas when I watched the new one, it was like, look how awesome I am. I love the world.
Yeah, I'm doing this.
I'm doing this because it's for the world.
Yeah.
It was like the difference between the real bleeding heart, passionate champions that I was raised to believe in and become, and then this narcissistic champion of themselves.
Yeah, like a visual of it.
Yeah, well, it's all a facade. They have this facade as if they're some kind of philanthropist, but really it's all about improving their image, because some marketing specialist told them, if you go perform in this song, you're going to get more ratings with this demographic. Right?
Yeah.
That's not what I like about local artists is, and I want to ask you, as before we run out of time here, is like, what's your next ambition? How do you think that we can take, and I say we because hopefully your city is behind you, like a Macklemore song. If you follow, your city's got you. So,
hopefully.
If your city gets behind you, what could we do, and what is your plans to take you to the next level?
Honestly, I would like to see more people come together, just like you. I mean, I think we share the same goal as far as that goes. And if I was some way able to elevate myself to the next level, maybe a higher platform, a broader audience, or maybe just have access to more tools to develop what I want to do, I would bring people together. I would, I think podcasts and things like this are a good way to open up the market to different people that maybe wouldn't work together, but will, if they're, like we talked about earlier, how you say when you throw 10 people in a room, if they're all artists, there's going to be some fire going on, and it's going to get sorted out, and you're going to find who's the best one, and you're going to see, like, talent's going to shine, and work ethic is going to show, right? So I want to bring people together and drive what's going on around here, because just like you, I think this city is an untapped gold mine of talent.
I think in all respects, and we talked about this before the podcast, that I think iron sharpens iron, and the diamonds need to kind of brush up against each other, because we need to realize that you need that competition, collaboration, next level ability, and this happens in every world: the music world, the fight world. Body. If you're a bodybuilder and you train with only weaker people than you never challenge yourself. You need to go find. When I was a bodybuilder, when I was younger, I always had one mantra: if I'm the strongest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
You're gauging yourself wrong.
Well, no, you're just in the wrong room, because you have no room for growth. If you're the strongest in the room, if you're the loudest, the proudest, the easiest to take control, you're easily the leader, that's not challenging yourself. Now, it might be great for that room for a time for you to take control and be the leader for a moment, but there's got to be times where you expand. This is my thing as a coach or a trainer.
You have to break through the ceiling of that, right?
Yeah, what's the ceiling of that? So you feel really comfortable being the big fish in your small pond, but if I throw you to the sharks, are you going to be the biggest, baddest shark?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's going to make you... And even if you come back to the pond, you're now bringing something back from the ocean that you just went and traveled in. Mm-hmm. You tell all the stories from the ocean. Hey, guys, you didn't know about the ocean, bro.
Yeah, you don't know yet.
You don't know about the ocean, dog. You got to swim good out there. It's a Frank Ocean out there.
Yeah.
And that's it. You got to watch. And so, to me, if we want to get global, the idea of, like, think global, act local. You ever hear that term?
Definitely.
Right? Mm-hmm. I think that's what we got to do. So if we think globally, if we did some songs and some things that transcended the human condition, and they weren't really about Windsor. So let's make some songs from Windsor that aren't about Windsor.
Right.
And let's put them to the rest of the world, and hopefully it can help to pull Windsor into that direction of the rest of the world. Because I think right now we're marketed by Stephen Colbert as the rectum, and we're the negative thing and this thing.
Yeah.
But I don't see that.
Definitely not.
I see us as the Motown, Sin City, Rose City. We have the potential to be the highest innovation of technology. We have amazing innovators here. We have amazing artists, the business people that come here. It's like from New York. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Definitely.
The entrepreneurs I know from Windsor are resilient as hell. And it's their love and passion for the city that keeps them here. Because if somebody like me went to Toronto or Vancouver, the bigger cities, we get rich. But you don't get the same kind of edge that you have in Windsor. There's an edge to the people here. There's a sharpness and a callousness that I think is only developed in places like border cities, in places with true friction between countries. Like, are we American? Are we Canadian? I don't know. We have a little bit of identity crisis.
A little bit of both, yeah.
We have a slight identity crisis, and that's okay. Identity crisis, which I'm sure you know. I'm sure you have an identity crisis in your own brain in there. So every artist does, right?
Yeah.
Does Brad have an alter ego that I'm probably not aware of? I have many alter egos.
Maybe.
Right? Tap into different alter egos. You have the artist, you have this, you have the person, you have the persona.
Yeah.
Right? And I think when we learn how to marry the person, the persona, that's when you get the real artistry, right?
Definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Now, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, if that's what you need that as a strong foundation to drive you forward. If that's what you're going to do, you have to kind of learn how to be both.
Now,
you can't separate one from other.
Are you writing new music now?
Yeah.
So when's the next album going to come out for you?
I'm not sure. At this point, I haven't really put a date on it, but probably closer to the end of the year, maybe, I would say.
Well, it might be quicker now that I'm going to help you write a couple songs. We're going to work on some really cool things now.
Maybe.
Because I think it's fun to motivate. For me, personally, I honestly love just being somebody who, and I'm sure anybody who's met me that's listening knows, I like to walk into a room like a fireball. I like to excite everybody, pump them up, tell them they can do cooler shit than they're currently doing, be a little bit negative because I like to talk a little smack to kind of get under your skin. But then once I'm under your skin, I'm in your brain. Now I try to build you up a little bit more. So even this podcast, I'm hoping that you leave this going, wow, man, that was really exciting. There's other people who listen to my music. My music's being appreciated. You know, I wonder what I can do now. You know, you're talking global now. Maybe I can, you know, so even just this conversation, we were talking again before the podcast about inspiration and how we don't know when we're creating this content or this art, who it's going to affect, where it's going to affect, what it's going to affect, what other thing is going to be created because we created this. That's amazing to me. So I want to encourage you to keep doing that and keep expressing, because it's not easy to write. It's not easy to rap.
No,
it's not easy
a process. It doesn't just happen. And my writing process is it's pretty laid out. Like I draw it out pretty long. I take my time, and I make sure that what I say is what I want to say. You know, because I guess that's the type of person I am whether I write or I'm just sitting in a room having a podcast with you, or I'm just out in the street having a conversation with somebody. I try to say what I mean without having to put myself in a position where I might have to take it back. Because I don't want to do that. Like, you know, you don't want to mislead people by coming off the wrong way, or, you know, you want to stand by what you say. So when you write a song, when I write a song, it might not be the same kind of process that somebody else might use. It might take me I might use a little more time, and I might space it out more. But at the end of the day, what I say is something that I'm going to stand by and something that I truly believe in, you know? Because I find that if you're going to express yourself, you have to be genuine. So that's the best way to get behind that kind of persona.
If you're not, people smell it quickly.
Definitely.
Right? I'll tell you, like, in my profession, I'm in testosterone soup. I'm a, you know, weightlifter, bodybuilder, you know, teach martial arts, these kind of things. People are always constantly challenging me, constantly. And it's how do you keep yourself from losing yourself while not being dragged into these challenges? And that's, I think, part of art, you know, for you, it's being able to probably disengage from the world. You're probably really introverted when you're writing, and then probably really extroverted when you're performing. So now you've been through almost I really write when I'm depressed.
Yep.
Right, you're probably similar.
Yep.
So we usually write when we're depressed because we're introvertedly looking introspectively for an answer. And we're finding that answer by painting out these words onto a canvas of paper or microphone or whatever it is, and saying, okay, I'm painting these feelings out. And I'm sure by the time you go and perform that song a couple times and you put the video out and stuff, you're like, okay, now I understand the lesson that either the universe was trying to teach me and that I was trying to maybe teach everyone else. And that, I think, is when you get to the point of that transcendent thought, where you've come full circle on the idea from the inception of the song to writing it, to performing it, to executing the video, to having people view it, critique it, you know, positively, negatively, and come full circle and just sit down and go, okay, wow, I did that whole process.
Yeah, with the realization of what just happened.
Isn't that the craziest thing for you? Like, I put out I've never put out an album yet, right? So that's an experience that you have that I don't have, and that's pretty cool. I bet you when you put out that album, you're like, wow, man, that took me months and maybe a couple of years. Look, my
first album took a long time to put together and actually come out. So when I put my first album out, it was it changed me, you know, from the inside out. I feel like it actually that's where my creativeness spawned. Not only did I go from being somebody who wrote music to somebody who created music and produced it and performed it, but it changed me as a person because I got to taste a little bit of that thing that I always wanted, you know, that I always put out of my own reach, and I always strive for and hope that one day I could do. But once it finally happened, it was one of the best feelings ever. You know?
What is that thing out of reach for you? What's that carrot on a stick for you? What's the thing
right now?
Right now. What's currently driving you to get that carrot on a stick?
Honestly, right now, I'm just trying to be the best me that I can. So every day that I go through my regular motions, you know, I get up, I go to work, I come home, I have a laundry list of stuff that I do as far as music and Nobody Famous Entertainment goes. So I go through those things every day, and I try to put every ounce of passion I can into every part of my life. So when I go to work to work. When I sit down to write a song, I sit down to write a song, you know, like when I dive into something, I dive into it. So basically what I would like, and the carrot on the stick for me, would be getting to the next level with Nobody Famous Entertainment and turning it into a full-time career. You know what I mean? And actually expanding it and living my life according to running that business.
Now, is that a problem of
I'm still building it right now.
Is the business, like, is it setting up the business, taking the time of that? You're also growing into the person clearly that's going to have to run this new idea.
Yeah, well, I have a 5-year plan that I'm currently working through and grinding out right now to get to that point. You know what I mean? So in a little while from now down the road, I'll be there. But it's right now that's the carrot on the stick for me. That's the thing that's driving me, is the plan that I have laid out and sticking to it to get there.
I like the Nobody
goals.
Famous, by the way. That's your company?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nobody Famous Entertainment.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
What's the goal?
The goal with Nobody Famous Entertainment is it's simple. We try to build people up, and I basically operate on the idea, whether it's my own musical interests or Nobody Famous Entertainment's business interests, that you don't need to be famous to be who you are and be somebody. If you want to be an artist, you don't have to be famous to be a successful artist. And your resume doesn't have to say things that are going to catch anybody's eye, or you don't have to win a Grammy award to be a successful musician. You just have to set your goals and meet them.
Do music. I think if you just do music, practice music, you're a musician, right?
Because the rewards of being a musician they're endless.
Nobody needs to hear it.
Not only can you get paid, and you can obviously live a lavish life off of it, but the emotional rewards of expressing yourself and just hitting those personal goals of saying, all right, you know what, like this is something that's always bothered me, so I'm gonna write a song about it. And once you write that song about it as an artist and you express yourself, and you come, just like you said, when you come full circle to the completion of that and you realize what you just did, it's crazy. Like, that in itself is more rewarding than anything.
It's always my favorite part in a project to spend, because I do lots of different creative ventures, and because you were asking me before the podcast, like, what do you do? I don't know how to exactly answer that, but I do whatever strikes me in the moment. I guess I'm an event planner, trainer, coordinator, entrepreneur, motivational speaker. I do lots of different things.
Right.
But it's kind of like just being able to, what you're saying, kind of free flow, go with the flow. Where am I at in this moment of my life? What do I think I should be doing in this moment? And not always being too stuck. So I have a 5-year plan, a 50-year plan, lots of plans. But at the same time, I like to use this one little phrase when I'm explaining it to my clients. I use Iron Man and Captain America, like the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
And they're in the plane. I think it's Iron Man 3 or Avengers, one of the Avengers ones. And they go, Captain America goes, we have to have a plan of attack. And Iron Man says, I have a plan. Attack.
He just jumps out. Yeah.
My plan is attack. I'm now attacking. Here's the plan.
That's the plan.
We're going to go ahead and win.
Yeah.
So I'm more of an Iron Man thinker in a lot of ways. I'm just like, let me just go. Let me blast whatever I'm going to blast in front of me, like you're saying.
And you
if
learn
I'm
as
going to
you
work,
go, right?
if I'm going to lift kegs, I'm going to lift kegs as best as I can. Put a lot of effort into it.
Until you're the best at it, right?
Well, even if I'm not the best at it, did I put the energy that it took to care, and put my best at it? Not be the best at it, but put my best at it. The other day I had to clean my grease trap from my restaurant.
Okay.
And I put a lot of effort into it. Was I the best grease trap cleaner? Not a chance.
No, but you did a good job, and it got done.
I did it, and I didn't hire it out to somebody else. I'm a business owner. I could have called somebody to do this, and I said, no. I'm going to clean my grease trap. I'm going to scrub my floors.
Okay.
I think that's the kind of business owner that I am, because I think you have to be in touch with
your business.
If you want to be a CEO, your job is not to walk around and put your chin up.
A lot of people misconstrue that title, the whole CEO thing. Like, that's something that you have to earn, from the ground floor up, by being in touch with your business.
I think it's like a chief of the military, like the master chief of the military is on the ground just like you.
Yeah, you don't just get handed that title, right? Like, so when you do things like clean the grease trap out in your own restaurant, and you get down and you actually do that grunt work, not only are you a better person for it, but your business is a better business because of it.
Those little details make a difference. And did you kind of do it, or do you really care about it? Did you kind of scrub the floor? Did you make it a real extra effort to go above and beyond? And I think, like you're saying, the little things of how you work, how you get up, what you care about, the disciplines that you create in all areas of your life definitely go towards my writing discipline. Like, it's a skill. Like I said earlier, I'm not a skilled rapper. I'm a talented person, and I'm able to apply that talent if put enough energy
into
towards
a wide variety of things.
Whatever. I'm one of those people that honestly could probably do whatever I want. I'm going to write books. I'm going to create things. I'll probably be mayor one day.
And you'll find your way.
Who cares? I'll find my way.
Yeah.
But that also, there's a humbleness and a humility in accepting that currently, though, there's a lot of skills that I have not acquired the time and put the effort in to do it. Like, you need 10,000 hours to master it.
Definitely.
So you and I want to have a little battle rap. Well, maybe I'm more talented. Maybe I'm less talented. But you've put more time and effort and discipline into that skill. And so that's where I think people need to understand it, that your talent is one thing and your skill and your development is a different level. So you could be a very talented musician. Maybe you think you're the best. Maybe you have the highest potential to sing of any singer around. But unless you develop the work ethic and discipline and
Through
mindset,
experience.
you're not going to be the best singer, and you're not even going to get an opportunity because nobody's taking you seriously because you're not taking yourself seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Clearly, that's what I've seen with your marketing of yourself is you take yourself seriously. But I don't think you're so serious that like you're going to cry and crumble if I write a negative review or something.
No, not really. But that's the beauty of people's opinions, you know, because even if you did write a negative review about me, it would still build me up to a point where I would be a better person, you know. Or I could take it like a child and, you know, go the other way with it. But
even then, that
the beauty
builds
of people's opinions, yeah, like it doesn't. It's all if you choose to accept it for what it is, and you know whether you choose to learn from it or not. Like, you know, it's all knowledge.
But you need pain as well, right? That's the thing about being an artist. Is like you almost need constant pain because these dramatic, amazing, inspirational moments. And I'm not saying they don't come out of love and kindness and sunshine and butterflies. But it seems that the brightest lights come out of the deepest darknesses.
Yeah, and you kind of use them as focus points, right? Like how people lay out paintings with a certain focal point that they want you to really focus on, that you'll see whether or not you're actually looking directly at it or you're just kind of gazing at it. But you, as artists, I find that too. Like a lot of people suffer from depression behind the scenes of creating music, and they tap into it a lot. And I find that, you know, even though they might like it, I don't know, like look at Chester Bennington.
I was
from
literally
Linkin Park.
thinking Chester from Linkin Park. As I'm looking, at your
couldn't
eyes,
think his name.
I was going to say it to you. I was just waiting for you to be done. I was like, Chester's the perfect example.
He is, because when you listen to his music, I mean, our generation grew up on that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Back, you know,
Linkin Park
early
was the
2000, like when they came out, that was like revolutionary for what they were doing as far as their sound goes. But looking back on it now, like obviously we're adults now, and we've been through our own personal struggles, and you might relate to that music more now, but after seeing what happened to him, you kind of get it.
But I appreciate it more now. In the end, it doesn't even matter. Somewhere I belong.
Yeah.
I want to find. He never found somewhere he belonged.
It speaks to you on so many more levels now that you actually understand like his personal struggle. Like those words, like they might have meant something to you 10 years ago when you were dealing with a personal struggle, and that helped you tap into your emotion, but now you see it from his point, and it's like, man, like it's crazy.
I was literally going to say Chester for this exact reason. It's so funny that our brains were linking on that, because Chester, when I was a teenager, probably saved my life more times than he would. You know, he's not alive anymore, but
right.
He saved lives because
more than he'll ever know.
More than he'll ever know. Even though he committed suicide, he stopped people, and myself. I'm actually putting myself on this list of people who stopped committing suicide because I found songs like "Somewhere I Belong,"
and you were able to work it out.
I could work it out. Actually, I worked out to these songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Enough,
right?
My workout songs was Eminem and Linkin Park and Collision Course and Jay-Z, and I got 99 Problems. All these kind of things that they would get into your brain, and they helped you. So I think even though he's dead for years and years, and the legacy is like, I guess, the biggest goal ever, right?
Definitely.
What are you leaving behind to feed the minds of those when you're dead and gone? Like Tupac said, I may not change the world, but I will spark the mind that does.
For sure. And you know what? That's a perfect way to put it too, because his legacy, just like I said, like even through his music and the level of the power that it has now, you know, like his legacy is going to go on forever, and
I dare you to
it
put
will
on
save
Changes,
more
bro.
lives.
Put on I See No Changes and sit down the entire song.
Yeah.
Just sit down the entire song. Don't get up. By the time I See No Changes goes halfway through, I'm like, all right, bro, I didn't see any change. I got to get
You're
up.
either singing the song or
you're singing the song. You're up now. You're
Yeah.
moving around. You're like, man, I got to create change because like Tupac is talking to me.
It's driving your
from the
emotions
grave.
to make you want to change.
Yeah, they speak to you from the grave, man.
Definitely.
These guys are dead, and they're still talking to me. Like I still
Yeah.
talk to Tupac daily, right? Me and Chester
Yeah.
still have a great relationship, and you know, no more or less relationship than I had when he was alive. I never met the
Right.
guy.
Yeah.
So the relationship that I have to these artists are to their music, right? And hopefully that, you know, even through podcasts like today, people that are listening to your music a better relationship for you.
Definitely.
Right? It was nice to have you on. It's been cool to kind of like we never met each other. We're hanging for the first time. And I believe that the ripple effect of these kind of events, you know, Tim decided to get us in touch. I decided to reach out to you. You decided to say yes. Here we are. Thank you, Paul, for producing the podcast.
Definitely.
And, you know, all of a sudden now we're going to produce music, and that music that we create could go on forever for the next 1,000 years. Right? So to me, thank you for being on, brother, and thank you for doing what you do. I'm inspired to watch you, and I hope that I'm inspiring you to go a little further, because I want to see what you're capable of.
For sure. Like I said, thank you for having me. I had a wonderful time, and I really like what you guys are doing here. I hope to see more people come through and actually help this grow, because the concept is great, you know.
I like it when Paul said on the sign, it'll say, "When we speak, you're heard." And I'm hoping these conversations, I'm trying to narrate what people are thinking. So I'm trying to say, these are what people are looking to hear, and these are what people want to know about this genre or that genre, the political genre, the rap genre. And then people like yourself that are experts in each genre can educate me. So I've learned in this podcast some things I didn't know before I came on.
Right, yeah. Well, you learned something new, and so do the people that you have on, right? So I think it's great, and I hope to see this keep going. And, you know, if you ever want to have me back,
100%, brother.
Yeah,
well, we're gonna finish up the podcast for the day, and we're gonna have Brad on again for sure. Look up his music. How do we look your music up, Brad?
www.knowbodyfamous.com. You can actually just type my name, Brad Shank, right into Google, and basically find whatever you're looking for.
He said Google
right
me,
there.
brah. He said Google me, folks.
I said Google me without actually saying Google me.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did
I
there.
see what you did there. I read between the lines. All right, guys.
Yeah.
So until next episode, thank you for listening. Like, share, check out the YouTube channel, subscribe. We cannot grow this podcast. The listeners grow the podcast. We just produce it. So for everybody who likes, shares, and gets us out there, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you want to be somebody who comes and talks to me, reach out, inbox me. Let's do this. Until next time, Word of Justice.